People want to know why I left Hinduism and why I think it personally doesn't make sense to me. So let me tell you why. Here it goes. A lot of people ask me why, what are the main reasons I left Hinduism, so I'm going to make it really quick, so here it goes. So I left Hinduism because at the age of 14, when I started researching about Islam very randomly, it didn't make sense to me that you could connect through God through an idol or a person or a middleman or a broker. I quickly realized when I was a kid, especially after watching the movie PK, it's a very good movie. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it, that God doesn't need a middleman. So anyone that says God needs a middleman, it's not true, in my opinion, respectfully. Second of all, I faced a lot of, I didn't face it, I saw a lot of casteism in the Hindu community. I come from a Brahmin Hindu Tamil family, and I have seen places in India where Dalit Hindus are not actually allowed to go into certain temples or stand in the front of the line because of their caste. And I thought that was the most ridiculous thing. There is no way I can support that. There is no way I could ever conceive that being okay. And I know a lot of people have a lot of excuses for caste. Some say it's not a caste system, it's a Varna system. So in Hinduism, there are castes called Brahmins who are on top, and only they're allowed to read and interpret the Vedas. No one else can. And there's Vaishyas, and there's also other castes, like I think Dalits, there's Shudras, there's all these castes, and then there's the lowest most castes who do so-called menial labor, and the Manusmriti said that if they listen to the Vedas, then hot liquid or hot lava should be poured into their ears, and I was like, no, that's not something that I can personally stand for. And yesterday, a lot of the comments, what really like got to me, I was like, like a eureka moment for me personally, was when people were telling me, wow, you're so horrible, you left what your ancestors practiced. And I'm not going to give you an answer, but I'm going to give you an answer from what my belief directly says, what my holy book directly says. So we believe that in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that some of the people continued to follow idol worship even though they knew it was not right because their ancestors did so. It directly says this in Surah Baqarah, guys. I was so stunned by that because I was like, literally, this is what my parents tell me. You should do this because it's for your ancestors did this, your ancestors did this. But no one ever questioned if it made sense, if any of this made sense. And another story, so since I'm Brahmin, my family's Kuladevam, which is like, it means house god, but it's not a very good explanation. It means like a deity that your house honors. In my house, that was their lord Ram. And let me tell you a little bit of what I know about Ram and what Hindus also believe about Ram. So their god Sri Ram, so he was basically a king. For some reason, he had a wife named Sita, and for some reason, by his dad, he was banished to the forest. And in the forest, what happened to him was his wife got kidnapped by an evil king called Ravan. And Ravan took Sita away because he turned himself into a sage and tricked her to come outside. And then he just kidnapped her and ran away. And Ram didn't know where she was. So he sent a monkey king called Hanuman to go to Sri Lanka, where she was said to be kidnapped. And when he reached Sri Lanka, he did meet Sita, but Sita said, I want to wait until my husband comes. So when Ram went all the way to Lanka, he eventually killed Ravana, and he brought back Sita. But it's all good until now, but wait, it gets a little questionable. I mean no disrespect to Hindus, like absolutely no disrespect. So, when Sita comes back, there were people talking and saying that Sita was not a pure woman and she committed adultery. And Sita was obviously a very pure woman. And Ram himself did not respect his pure wife Sita and asked her to be burned in the fire. And she passed the test. We call this the Agni Pariksha. And she passed the test when she walked through the fire. And she was proven to be pure. Sadly, it doesn't end here. So then Sita gets pregnant with twins called Lava and Kusha. And Ram, for some reason, still has suspicions over his wife, so he sends her off to the forest. Now, everyone, can we think critically? Does that make sense to send a pious, good wife who literally was dying until the husband tries to come save her, and now you kill her, or like you send her to the forest and she could potentially be killed? Is that dharma? Dharma means righteousness and right path. Is that really righteousness? Is that really a right path? When I started questioning all this, my parents told me to be quiet and that I'm too young to question all